this month's Academy Mentoring Moments. It's all about outcome measures. Go flip the order. The last question is, how do you document the use of outcome measurements? Well, we do have a sheet that we use for outcome measures. The second part of that is, how do we share them with patients, payers, members of the multidisciplinary team? So we absolutely do share our outcome measures. I'm going to tell you that our focus, first and foremost, is the team. So many of our outcome measures are specifically, thoughtfully put together to support physical therapy getting additional therapy with patients. So in our case, I would tell you that our outcome measures typically wind up being adopted by the therapists that our patients are working with, and therapy is then sharing those with the insurance company to make sure that the therapy can continue. Towards that end, there's some simple things I want you to know. This might seem a little silly, but you'd be surprised how many people don't realize this. You can stand on two legs easier than one. Now, what we like to tell our therapists is that generally, we like to tell them, frankly, all the time, you can expect your patients to stand twice as long when they've gotten their first prosthesis as opposed to what they were doing without a prosthesis. Frequently, it's quite a bit longer than that. That's an outcome measure. We want to pay attention to that. We're going to pay attention to, in our outcome measures, how the patient's transfers are, whether that's max assist, mod assist, min assist, sliding board, independent. So we keep track of that progress. What assistive device is the patient using? So are they using a walker, a hemi-walker, a quad cane, a single point cane? Nothing at all. What's their standing time? So how long can they stand statically, comfortably? When it comes to their ambulation, we're going to be paying attention to, is that with assistance, without assistance? We're going to be, and what type of assistance? We're going to be paying attention to their distance and writing that down. And then finally, we also use a socket comfort scale. So all of these things are easy in the context of a regular, thoughtful appointment to collect. All of these things are easy to keep data on. That's useful. And you'll find that by instructing your therapists, part of your team, in these things to pay attention to, it makes it easier for them to get the documentation that they need so that your patients get the physical therapy that they need. All right. So question number one was how to use them in your practice. Well, I think I gave you a good picture of that answering question number three. What resources do you use for referencing outcome measures or finding validated tests? Oh, that's a good one. So when we were putting together our outcome measures, first of all, we understood, because the way that I've used them historically, that they don't need to be huge, that they don't need to be big, that it's not, AMPRO or some of the multi-page survey kind of things, that you can do simple things. And one of the key things is it's easy to discover validated tests out there. And it's great to look at those and think about those. But it's going to be exceptionally challenging to incorporate those into a regular practice. And the only outcome measures that matter are ones that you actually record, ones that you measure and record. So finding what you're comfortable with in your normal practice is going to be an essential importance. And I would encourage you, even if you're in a practice that you feel like, oh man, they're not doing any of this, to realize that no, you can be doing this. Without a survey, without the time, you can create the sheet that's going to be your consistent sheet for your patients, that you can measure things that matter when it comes to those patients. Do you think standing time matters? Walking distance matters? What kind of device you're using for assistance matters? All of those things matter. They're all outcomes. They're all easy to measure in the course of your regular practice. So integrate them into what you do. Be intentional about keeping the records. And as you build data, it means more and can be used for more. So don't be intimidated by the big tests. Don't be intimidated by things that would take a team to make sure that it happens with your patients. Focus on the little things in front of you that you can measure that make a difference. Wish you well. Hope that helps. This month's document. Bloop. Bloop. Strike. Start over. Not too stoked about that, but let's